It's an old SEC rivalry on Rocky Top as Tennessee and Georgia get set to do battle. We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game between the Vols and the Dawgs. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips. He's Cole the Bear Thompson. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. And as always, we are powered by our friends over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. Vols and Dawgs in Knoxville. Much more needs to be said. It's a top 15 showdown as SEC play gets underway for both Tennessee and Georgia. We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game. Hello, everyone. I am Chris Phillips. As always, helping me do so, my right-hand man, my partner in crime, Cole the Bear Thompson. Bear, what's going on, man? I appreciate you taking the time. This is the site, by the way, of the SEC Unfiltered Tours Week 3 destination. So we will be on site, on hand for that in beautiful Knoxville, Tennessee. And Bear, I'm really excited to break down this game with you. It's a top 15 showdown. It's a pair of teams with high hopes, high aspirations, not a lot of love for each other, and a lot of questions to be answered that inevitably will be answered this weekend.
Yeah, you can easily cut the tension with a very stone cold knife and you'll find it just immediately. This game feels weird, dude. Like it feels so weird for a lot of different reasons. For starters, I'm used to seeing it at the end of the year. We're getting it in week 3. We have two teams that certainly had a lot of questions going into the year. I feel like I have a few more answers for another one. Again, it's Rocky Top. You don't need to set the picture. What we're going to see on a Tennessee afternoon, especially with the cascadingness of the Vols and the Dawgs and how much these two have validity with each other. But the thing that I really say, has there been a moment to where it feels like Tennessee, whether or not you want to admit it out loud, you feel kind of good about Tennessee with where they are. And because, and this is the weirdest $100 million question that you could have asked this offseason, probably been wrong, because of who they have at quarterback. Because of Joey Aguilar is the guy that we're all paying attention to going into this game.
Maybe because of who they do and who they don't have at quarterback, to your point. I don't know that I'd feel better with anybody else under center for Tennessee. And first things first, I'll say again, really excited. They're also checkering out the stadium, Bear. I got to figure out what section I'm in regards to what color. I might be in Tennessee orange on Saturday night. It might be white. We'll have to wait and see. Cannot wait, though, to get to Knoxville, get on Rocky Top. Just a short drive for me down from Nashville. Really, really pumped, though, to hang out with all the great Vols and the great Dawgs as well. Only other experience I had was last year, Tennessee, Alabama. I know this one's going to deliver as well. Neyland Loud, a real thing, and the Neyland hospitality. Cannot wait to take that in once again. But again, Bear, the stage is set. Saturday, September the 13th, 2:30 Central Time kickoff on ABC there on Rocky Top at Neyland Stadium. Bear, the spread in this one, you mentioned this one kind of felt like a weird game. Vegas would agree with you because just yesterday, Georgia was a 6.5-point favorite. Bear, as we sit here on this Monday, September the 8th, that number has tumbled all the way to Georgia at -4.5. So the money is pouring in on Josh Heupel and the Vols. What does it mean? I don't know, but there's a lot of confidence in Tennessee apparently covering this number. The over-under set at 49.5. Bear, Georgia leads the all-time series 29-23-1. They've also won 8 in a row. That's the big number. Tennessee, Bear, hadn't won a game in this series since Jawan Jennings caught the Hail Mary in Athens. Think about how long ago that was and what we were all doing back in 2016. The last meeting last year, of course, 2024, Georgia won that game, Bear, by a final score of 31-17. So again, like I mentioned, Bear, the SEC Unfiltered Tour, we debark and we will invade Rocky Top, taking in yet another fantastic game and a great showdown between Georgia and Tennessee. Bear, I want to start with this because the streak is something that I think is fascinating here. Georgia has won 8 contests in a row, 2016, the last time Tennessee was able to beat Georgia. There's a magic number that I just want to go ahead and get out of the way, Bear. The magic number for Tennessee is 17. Can they score 17 points or more against Georgia? They have not been able to crack more than 17 since 2016. since Kirby Smart arrived in Athens. And I think that's the riddle you're going to have to solve if you're going to finally snap the streak and if you're going to beat Georgia. Again, some coaches just have other coaches' numbers. Does Kirby Smart just have Josh Heupel's number and have his offense figured out to where it's not a big deal? And obviously, again, a couple of those games came against coaches not named Josh Heupel, but it's just been a thorn in the side, right? It's been that thing that Josh Heupel cannot figure out. 17 is the key number. Maybe it's 18 because you got to get to more than 17. 18 plus is the key number for me, Bear. Tennessee, if they're going to win this football game, if they're going to snap the streak, if they're going to pull this upset, you've got to be able to get more production out of the offense than you've done against Georgia, which is a lot easier said than done because it's going to be another, I'd say, elite level kind of defense rolling into Knoxville yet again. But can Joey Aguilar and company finally break through that glass ceiling, score 18 or more points, and give this football team a realistic chance to pull the upset?
Yeah, it's not Josh Heupel thing. It's a Tennessee thing. That's just what Kirby Smart does. He understands what this rivalry is. He understands what this hostility is. He understands what a signature moment this is. And he's delivered on every spectrum, specifically on the defensive side. We could talk about what happened in the Austin Peay game. We could spend hours about how a 28-6 win feels very underwhelming, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. You've seen this defense play. You and I both watched the Marshall game. We saw the way that they were able to slow down the Governors. I think they allowed less than 200 yards of total offense. Didn't allow them to reach the end zone, 2 field goals on the day. So it still is going to be an elite defense. It still is going to be a physical defense. And the other part, the thing that I've noticed about Georgia so far in their first 2 games, at least when it comes to the front 7, they have the depth. They can rotate in guys. They can have certain designs where it's a third down stop, and we're going to go with an all-out blitz through the B gap. So we got to get our bigger guys to be able to corral that area and just take away the interior of the offensive line. If we lose, we're going to lose to the outside corner, which is going to be very challenging for us. That's what Georgia has at hand. But on the flip side, again, this offense that we've seen from Tennessee, it's one thing the way that they played against Syracuse. It's another thing to lay waste on East Tennessee State. And again, 72-17, when your backups are finding as much success as your starters, that shows the level of continuity you have on your offensive side. The other thing that I've always been preaching about all offseason, you have an offense that does trust multiple running backs. Last season felt like it was the Dylan Sampson show. You got Star Thomas with a couple of big touchdown runs. You get really good play from Peyton Lewis to Sean Bishop's getting involved. So there's ways to where you're going to have a chess match with the defensive mind of Kirby Smart and the offensive personnel of Josh Heupel that is going to allow you to see certain creaks inside of where is the level of inconsistency, where is the weakness spots, and you're going to have to attack that. My big question is, who's going to get the advantage? Who's going to get that last striking blow, offensively or defensively, that allows you to be able to kind of pull away? You are right, 17, you got to hit. And actually, you need to hit probably 20, if we're being completely honest. But if you don't have a game plan to counteract what the other coach does, whether it be with the offensive or defensive personnel, blitzing, vertical threats downfield, pitches to the outside, you're going to be in for a very, very, very long day out in Rocky Top on either side.
Bear, one of the things I think makes this game so fascinating, yet again, there's so many unknowns on both sides. I think we know a little bit more, at least it feels like when we do right now. We've seen more from Tennessee to this point in the season. We've actually seen them play a Power 4 team, beat up on a Syracuse. Then you go out and score 70-plus against East Tennessee State. For Georgia, there's a lot of unknown. I mean, I think you and I both feel pretty good about what the defense is going to be because I know I just so thoroughly trust Kirby Smart. And you know they're going to at least have a defense that is one of the tops in the SEC, if not tops in the country, going to give them a chance every single ball game. What are they offensively? And what an opportunity for both of these quarterbacks, Bear. I want to zero in on Gunnar Stockton because you look at his stats the first 2 games. Once again, are we drawing any conclusions from Marshall and Austin Peay? I certainly don't think so. But he's gone 40 of 58, 69% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns through the air, hasn't turned the football over. In the ground game, 15 carries for 86 yards, has 2 rushing touchdowns, hasn't turned the football over. Here's the thing, though, Bear, realistically, because I know there's a lot of mixed opinions right now on Gunnar Stockton, and this isn't coming from me or from you, but people in Athens that are fans of the Dogs that maybe question whether they can reach where they want to go and inevitably what their standard is. with a guy like Gunnar Stockton at quarterback, who I think Bear is a really, and I'm not trying to demean him, obviously, but a really safe option. But I just don't know that he has the highest ceiling in the world. Like, I think he's a pretty safe guy. Like, and Kirby wants to go with the guy who's been in the system, who's going to take care of the football. But here's the reality. Bottom line is this, Bear. What happened the first 2 weeks, whatever. The narratives and the perception and the opinions about Gunnar Stockton, fairly or unfairly, they're going to be made off of what happens on Saturday. Like that's it. And maybe Joey Aguilar is kind of the same too. Because, I mean, even tearing up Syracuse is like, okay, but you know how we do, Bear. Let's get to SEC play. That's who we find out who you really are. This is when the men get separated from the boys. All that stuff you did in non-conference and the stat padding, and every single sport in the SEC is like this. SEC plays different. Conference plays different. Like, what you do in non-cons, whatever, but if you can't shine at this point and it's shine against this competition, well, it doesn't really mean a ton. So for both quarterbacks, but especially I zero in on Gunnar Stockton because I think there's just a lot of, like, there's no quarterback debate in Knoxville. Joey's the guy, right? You're going to live or die with him, whatever. And I don't know that in Athens people are necessarily screaming for Ryan Puglisi to start this weekend, but, you know, I think there's a lot of folks out there with just a lot of uncertainty, and he needs help around him. And I think his receiver room is so much better. I'm excited to watch them work with guys like Zachariah Branch and what Colby Young's done early in the tight end room and some others as well. You know, I think the running back room is really deep. I know Nate Frazier's leading the way, but Phillips Jr. has been really good, kind of accompanying him. Bowens has been good. So they've got multiple guys. So Georgia's deep there. And I think the offensive line has played better. Haven't been perfect. Huge test for them too. But you know as well as I do, Bear, if you got a quarterback, you got a chance. What is Gunnar Stockton really? We're going to start to get the answer to that question this weekend.
If you are Tennessee, you are crowding the box with 8 and you are forcing him to get those deep shots downfield. Because you got to test him. You have to. You got to be able to say, if we're going to lose this football game, so be it. We will lose behind the arm and the explosive plays downfield by Gunnar Stockton, who hasn't shown us that in the first 2 games against
Bear, what have we, not to cut you off, what have we seen in the first couple of weeks?
A lot of running.
Seen? Youngish, inexperienced quarterbacks going on the road to hostile environments. Doesn't necessarily bode well. It doesn't typically bode well.
I mean, you have to have a good supporting cast around you, which is the blessing for Georgia. Because if you look at the Ole Miss game last week against Kentucky, 2 big interceptions by Austin Simmons early on. But the fact that you had a Harrison Wallace to bail you out of trouble, you had a Keywan Lacey get involved in the ground game, you were able to kind of set the tone and make up for those mistakes. But the thing is that you want to corral box, take away the rushing element. Don't let Gunnar Stockton beat you with the legs. Don't let Nate Frazier get off the line of scrimmage. And the thing is that you as Tennessee are going to get a good test of where your secondary is, because who is not playing in this game, Chris? Who is not going to be out there? Ricky Gibson, Jamon McCoy. So those 2 guys automatically were already ruled out well before we knew what Gunnar Stockton was, what he could be. And then you got to ask yourself, what is the depth of our defensive line? 2 injuries last week. Jackson Moy. You also have David Hobbs. You don't know what his status is for this game. Neither played in the matchup against ETSU. So what are we going to get from that interior pass rush? But if I'm playing this game, I'm forcing Gunnar Stockton to have to beat me through the air. And he can. I mean, the big thing is you look at the weaponry, and it's miles and miles better. It's a healthy Colby Young, not dealing with off-the-field issues. He's a chain mover. You got Zachariah Branch. He could turn a 7-yard slant pattern into a 70-yard call to the house. Noah Thomas, he could be a difference maker. You feel good about where you are with some of these younger receivers as well. You have Cash Jones back for another year in the backfield. You have London Humphrey still there. Taylor had a big-time game against Austin Peay. So these are guys that can be chain movers. These are guys that can win their one-on-one battles. And they're guys that you trust are built to be a part of a roster that can lead you to a national title run, can lead you to the ultimate goals this year. But you got to have it with the quarterback. You still got to be able to connect downfield. You still have to be able to have those plays. I'm not ready to go ahead and write off Mike Bobo or Gunnar Stockton. Like, I see Georgia fans and how disappointed they are and how they're calling for him. It's like, guys, it's enough. Like, if you win a football game by 40 or 20, you still win a football game, and nobody's going to care about what the final score was of Austin Peay or Marshall 15 years from now when you win a national title. Nobody is going to give a flying care in the world about that. But they are going to care about how you looked against Tennessee, because this is a Tennessee team that right now is a little bit banged up, but still has a good enough defense that is going to be able to take away some elements over the top. It still is a good front seven. It still is a defense that can find ways to shoot at the right gaps, take away the rushing attack, and force your quarterback to have to be the guy. Are you able to be the guy in an environment like Neyland? In my opinion, a top 3 stadium in college football and a top 2 environment in the sport. Can you be that guy? Because that's another thing that you're going to have to pay into that not a lot of people want to give credit. That atmosphere is going to be a factor for Georgia. Young quarterback making a big-time start on the road. He's had some big-time games. Came in the second half against the SEC championship, played against Notre Dame. This is your first real road test, buddy. This is your first moment where the crowd is not going to be split down the middle or giving you any accolades praise. They're going to be coming for your throat. And the way that sound reverbs up, there is no out. So when up comes up, must come down.
Neyland loud. It is different. Can confirm. Yeah, excited for the matchup too, Bear. We haven't talked a ton of defense, but Arion Carter on the defensive side for Tennessee. I know Joshua Joseph was a guy that, talking to our friends on Rocky Top for the season, they felt like he was going to be better even than James Pierce was a season ago. That's how highly they think of him early in the season. He's leading them with 2 sacks. I think him coming off the edge, breathing down Gunnar Stockton's neck, going to be really interesting. Can Georgia protect him is going to be a big key in this one. But on the flip side, Bear, and I'll let you, I know you're excited to talk Joey Aguilar and what he's been to this point. Tennessee offensively has been red hot. And here's the reality. Even when you're playing inferior competition, and again, you took down Syracuse in week 1. That's a team with a pulse. That's a team with a really good head coach, if nothing else, in Fran Brown. Positive momentum's a real thing. Momentum one way or the other is a real thing. And I think the thing that has to excite you, Bear, and excite everybody else, just how crisp Joey Aguilar has looked through 2 weeks. 39, 59, 66% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, right? He's been able to run it a little bit here and there as well. But the passing game has been elite. It looks like to this point, Tennessee actually upgraded at the quarterback position, especially when you look at what Nico's been doing out there on the West Coast. But either way, you got to be excited about what you've seen at this point, no matter who the competition is. I mean, look at Georgia. It's not like they've gone out there and won each game by 50 or 60, right? Meanwhile, Tennessee has steamrolled their first 2 opponents. I think they've got a lot of depth in the running back room. But again, starts at the quarterback position with Joey Aguilar. So on the flip side, we're talking about Gunnar Stockton, Bear. Is it not kind of the same question? It's like, all right, Joey, who are you really? Are you really him? That's what we'll find out this weekend.
They have upgraded because of maybe not talent perspective, but certainly just poise, demeanor, and fit for offense. The way that Joey Aguilar plays football is the way that you want a Josh Heupel quarterback to be successful. And credit where credit's due. Kid bet on himself. Kid did not have to stay or go to a place like Tennessee where the expectations are through the roof. He did, and he's delivered. He has also found a way to evade the thing that people criticized him for during his time at Appalachian State. Turnovers. He has 5 touchdowns against 0 turnovers in 2 games. 6 quarters of action. He has been as advertised for this offense, and the deep ball is back. It's not just Braylon Staley. It's Mike Matthews. It's Chris Brazzell. It's guys who you expected to take that next step forward. They're able to reach that goal. And this is something that I've noticed about the Josh Heupel offense for years now. Wide receivers in year 1 get their feet wet. They dip their toe in the water. They kind of get acclimated to what's going to be the atmosphere. Year 2, they're doing backflips off the diving board and the high dive from 50 feet up, and they're making it look easy. That's what we've seen. Cedric Tillman did it. Jalen Hyatt did it. You're watching as Chris Brazzell is getting more comfortable. Mike Matthews get more comfortable. Braylon Staley's get more comfortable. If you're Georgia, you take away the deep ball. You take away the deep ball and you say, if they're going to win, they're going to win with physicality on the ground. The way that we talk about for Georgia to win this football game is night and day difference for how Tennessee to win this football game defensively. If you're Tennessee, you want to see what Gunnar Stockton's arm looks like. If you're Georgia, you want to see if they can actually run it against you. Because again, the depth of this defensive line, the overall atmosphere and the quality of player that you have in the front 7 for Georgia can be rotated and it's not going to miss a beat. You don't know what the stats is of David Sanders Jr., the 5-star left tackle from Charlotte, right tackle from Charlotte. Is he going to play in this game? Offensive line is now getting tested for the first time. And we also got to give credit where credit's due. Syracuse is the team that is probably going to have a good culture and certainly have the right personnel leading the charge because it's Fran Brown. they're also a team that found a way to go to overtime against UConn because of how dreadful their defense was. So it's still not a great test in terms of the overall production of what Tennessee's offense can be. This is a test. But still, can you run the football efficiently? You have 3 guys this year that you can trust. Start Thomas. Can he be setting the tone on early downs? Can it open up the playbook on second and short? What do you get with Deshaun Bishop? What do you get with Peyton Lewis? What do you get with the mobility of Joey Aguilar? Are there design runs just like Connor Stockton to where he's doing a 2-step drawback, seeing the open crease through the A gap and just piling on through for the first down, then slide it? Like, is that going to be something that we see? Are we going to watch them run, a spread personnel with with 2 wide receivers out on the outside and it be a run play? Just ways to go ahead and throw Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann off their balance is going to be key. But this is going to be a game where if they can take away the deep ball, if they're Georgia, you're going to be able to see what this overall offensive ground game is. And that's another key element of things that we know about a Josh Heupel offense. They love to run the football. They always love to be a ground and pound attack to then take those shots downfield. If you take away the shots downfield, you make this offense one-dimensional. Aguilar's going to have a big-time test, but you also are going to have a pretty good test on where your overall rushing attack is as a unit. And again, it's 3 running backs this year versus the 1 headliner in Dylan Sampson. I like that a lot more because if you know that you can win with certain advantages and certain matchups that can change every single Saturday based off of who you face.
And I'm glad you bring up the running game, Bear. I think for both sides, and it's something we haven't discussed. We've talked a lot about the quarterbacks, the skill positions, but this is Tennessee, Georgia. This is Georgia, Tennessee. It's going to come down to the trenches, just flat out. And especially, I think if you're looking at this game from the Tennessee side, if you're going to snap this streak against Georgia, you need to whip them up front. Like, just bottom line. That's why you have not been able to score against them, right? Like, realistically, you have not been able to get a consistent push. I mean, Georgia's just been in a different stratosphere than you've been in the trenches. And granted, Georgia's been in a different planet than most over the last 8 years or since Kirby got there or whatever. But you're going to have to, at minimum, be able to hold your own, if not win the majority of those one-on-one battles. Bear, we love to overcomplicate this thing and overcomplicate football. It's not that difficult to understand. If I can more often than not line up in front of you and move you where I want you to go, if I do that more often than you do that to me, I'm going to beat you. Outside of just special circumstances like I shoot myself in the foot, we turn the football over, whatever, I've got a great shot to win it. That's why Georgia has bullied Tennessee the way they have. That's why they have this streak the way that they do. Tennessee, you want to change things, you want to start a new streak, you're going to have to line up and be able to punch Georgia in the mouth, especially when they inevitably punch you because, hey, like we just talked about Neyland Loud. Guess who loves playing at Neyland? Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs do. That hasn't really affected them all that much. Now, will it affect the Gunnar Stockton? We'll see. But like his football team hasn't really affected them. I think the best way you're going to set the tone and affect Georgia is setting the tone up front and let them know, hey, we're putting our foot down. Things are different. We can talk all the skill position stuff all we want, and that stuff's important. Don't get me wrong. We can talk atmosphere. That's important. Quarterback play certainly is important. But if you don't win the battle up front, Bear, everything else is a moot point.
You're going to have to sneak in a few shots that they're not expecting. And that comes with the explosive plays downfield. That comes with the Joey Aguilar passing attack. That comes with the Mikey Matthews touchdown. That comes with the Chris Brazell 40-yard gain. And it's like when you're in a boxing ring. You take the body shots, but then you go ahead and get a quick cross. And they get diluted. They don't know where they are. They start to see a little bit of stars. Then you go back to the body shot. And that's just the physicality. Their mind is ricocheting all over the place, but you're allowing yourself to be able to take those blows that's going to slow them down. So you have to be able to get those quick strikes. You have to be able to show that there is an element of this pass attack that's there. But again, bottom line is that when you play in the SEC and when you play this type of matchup with these two teams, it comes down to the physicality and it comes down to the depth. From a depth standpoint, I like Georgia. I do. There's just no other way to put it. Georgia has a more cohesive, complete roster from first team to second team. There are injuries right now that are hindering Tennessee. But that does not mean that for one Saturday, you can be the team that is bullying the bully for 35 minutes. And those other 25 minutes, you go ahead and you get those quick strikes down the field. Physicality is going to be the nature of this game. Whoever is the more physical team on either side of the trench is walking away with the win.
Bear, on that note, let's lock in some picks. Let's lock in some predictions. Would you like the honors, or do you want me to go first? All right, take it away.
Listen, to have this game early on in the year, a top 15 matchup where a lot of unknowns still resides for both programs is massive, because if we're going to look back at this prediction come November and say we were either entirely right about the direction of these two teams or entirely wrong. Things just went awry after those first 2 weeks. And, what we were thinking about Tennessee, well, it's very clear that they were actually just a 7-5 team masquerading against bad opponents. Or Georgia, we were a little bit questioning what Gunnar Stockton was. Oh, lo and behold, he's turning to Stetson Bennett 2.0. And it was this matchup that gave us a good inclination on what these teams were. The physicality of Georgia's defensive line, I think, is going to be a massive problem for Tennessee's offensive personnel. I got to see if you're going to get a healthy David Sanders. I got to see if your offensive line is going to be able to hold its own against some of this interior pass rush. I got to be able to see that you're going to get these wide receivers to break on open. On the flip side, I also think that Georgia has a slight advantage right now because the weaponry and the personnel that you have out in Athens that is going to be competitive can win against a defense that is missing key elements in the trenches and in the secondary. And I like Colton Hood a lot, and he's going to have to be that dude in this game, whether it be against Zachariah Branch, whether it be against Colby Young, Oscar Delp, whoever it is, he is going to have to play up to par. There are just so many advantages that I feel like Georgia has. And yet a part of me just can't get past the fact that it feels like this is a special year out in Rocky Top. We didn't talk about them the entire offseason. We criticized them losing their quarterback. We criticized the Joey Aguilar addition to the team. We questioned Josh Heupel and how he went about the offseason. We questioned about this team and what they lost in the portal or what they lost in the NFL draft and how they weren't able to recoup. The way that we talked about all these other teams in the SEC was that they were good enough to be a 10-2 roster, and Tennessee's 8-4 with this schedule. So it's a slap in the face of Tennessee. And something says you got to get that marquee win. And I think it happens. I think the fact that this game is early on in the year, I think the fact that this game is in Neyland, and the fact that Joey Aguilar just needs that one moment, gotta have game where he gets to show the world, I bet on myself and I freaking won. I won this game. I think it goes to overtime. I think it's a 23-23 game going into overtime, and I think Joey Aguilar connects with Miles Kitzelman for a touchdown to win the football game on the second drive. So you only need 6. I got a final score of 29-23. I think Rocky Top rolls in its backyard, and Neyland Stadium is rocking on Saturday afternoon.
I love the pick, Bear, from the standpoint that all of Tennessee's signature wins, like this magnitude under Josh Heupel, have come at home. If it's going to happen, it feels like for them, get them at home and just hold on for dear life on the road. Like if you're going to make another run back to the playoff, right? I think most Tennessee fans would agree. It's been the road woes that concern you more than anything. Winning a big game like this at home, it's happened. It's happened. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. There's proof of concept that it can be done. And selfishly, stoked to get to Rocky Top, stoked to get back to Knoxville. I absolutely love it. I know Vols fans, you and I, we've had a lot of fun times together in the past, whether it goes all the way back to baseball season or my doubts, very well documented doubts of Joey Aguilar during the offseason, which, hey, I'm already eating crow. I get it. Ranking him 16th out of 16 was not a good play. That was not good. I'm already ready to say that was wildly inaccurate to a point to where I'll probably drop mid-season quarterback rankings because we need to come correct and make sure we're giving love to guys who deserve it. Joey Aguilar, certainly one of those. That being said, Bear, like I said to you, the magic number or the number to know in this game is 17 because Tennessee has not scored more than 17 points against Georgia since 2017. They have not done so since Kirby Smart got to Athens. What's going to change about that this year? That's my question. And at some point, right, you just start to say to yourself, maybe a guy like Josh Heupel has a Kirby Smart problem. And a lot of guys do. Let's be fair. A lot of guys do. But there's just something specifically where Kirby's just got the he knows this offense. He knows how to counteract it. Neyland's going to be electric. It's going to be an absolute madhouse. I can see it in my head, Bear. I can see it watching it in person. Tennessee breaking the streak. Streaks are made to be broken. But, Bear, until I see it, I'm going to go with what I feel I can trust in my heart, what I feel I can trust in my gut, and what I feel I can trust is Kirby Smart to show up and do it again. Georgia's got question marks. Huge game for Gunnar Stockton, but I believe in Georgia getting up for this game. Nobody's a better master motivator. Nobody's going to have his football team more prepared than Kirby Smart and that staff will. I think Georgia will force the issue in the trenches. I think that's where it will start. I think they will win the battle up front. At the end of the day, for everything Tennessee's done well this season, I don't trust them for 60 minutes to go out and out-physical Georgia. As good a player Joey Aguilar is, I'm really concerned in regards to Joey's going to make some highlight plays, but I wonder if this isn't the game where we start to see some of that erratic nature, him maybe try to force some things. And against the Georgia defense, that's not going to work well in your favor. That magic number, that number to know, like I said, 17 points, I think another year goes by and Kirby Smart and that Georgia defense hold Tennessee to 17 or less. I'm going to say they hold them right at that 17 number. Give me Dogs 23, Tennessee 17. It's not going to be a pretty game. It's going to be a bit of a rock fight, but I don't think Georgia would have it any other way. I think that's the kind of game they want. I think a higher scoring game actually would favor the Vols. Listen, if Tennessee gets above 17, all bets are off. But I just got to see it, man. I got to see Josh Heupel and company with this new quarterback and Joey Aguilar go out there and beat Kirby Smart. Something that's the riddle they just cannot solve. No matter what, they could play the game in Neyland, they could play it in Sanford, they could play it out in the parking lot. Like, it doesn't really matter, it seems. Kirby's just got Josh Heupel's number. So I'm going to give the Dogs the benefit of the doubt. It's a pick that I'm not going to lie to you, Bear. It scares me a bit. The way the number has moved scares me, but at the same time, I'm also really confident. Like, I'm probably going to be betting Georgia. If you're going to give it to me at -4.5, you're asking me to believe in Tennessee doing something they haven't done in nearly a decade. Yes, streaks are made to be broken. One of my bold predictions for the season was Georgia's going to lose one of these games that they have these historically long win streaks over. Tennessee, Auburn, Florida, etc. I'll be happy to be proven wrong, but I'm going to reside with the things that I trust and that I know, and I trust and know the fact the Dogs are going to show up under Kirby Smart, and all they do is beat Tennessee under his leadership. So I'm going to go 23-17. I think you have a good pick. I could see it happening. I just got to see it happen with my own eyes first. So I'm going to ride with UGA to come in and get the W.
Either outcome, I think, is possible. And I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to be shocked on either side. Hey, Gunnar Stockton, shut me up. Joey Aguilar, shut up Chris Phillips. Just do that.
I like Georgia -4.5. I think total-wise, I'd probably go under. This feels to me more of like a defensive slugfest kind of game. Or, I mean, who knows? Maybe both these quarterbacks ball out, and we're talking about a game that goes in the high 30s. I guess you just never really know. But I'm going with Georgia. Bears going with the Vols. Would love to hear from you. Agree with me. Agree with Bear. What are your thoughts on this game? And what's your prediction? Who are you locking in, Georgia or Tennessee on Saturday at Neyland? Guys, we're going to get out of here. That's going to do it all for us. Before we do that, I want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Guys, FanDuel's getting you ready. The NFL season's officially here. They have an offer you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets. If you win, that's right, pick a bet $5. If it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style. FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season's here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Once again, FanDuel.com/SECU to get in on the action today. Once again, guys, we appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast where you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. For Cole the Bear Thompson, I'm Chris Phillips. Thank y'all so much. We'll see you on Rocky Top. Y'all take care, and we will talk to you all on the other side.